Hey everyone, welcome back to the Writing Podcast. I'm your host Adam, and as always, I'm here with my co-host Lindsay Broker. And first off, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, whether it's live or otherwise. And I hope everyone got their writing resolutions for the New Year's in, or better yet, actual writing plans for the new year. But anyway, we got a really good one here for you today. We're joined by our first ever interview guest, author Wayne Stinnett. Wayne, welcome to the show.
Hi. Well, thanks for having me, Adam.
Oh, our pleasure, I'm sure. So, we'll start off just kind of where you started off. I know the most people are watching for the marketing stuff, but I always like to get the background. So, how did you get started in self-publishing, but also how did you get started writing?
Well, I first started writing a long time ago, probably before you were born. Right after I got out of the Marine Corps, I started just writing short stories. I put together several of them that I thought were real good and sent them to publishing houses and everything. Somewhere in one of the file cabinets is the 37 rejection letters I got. And I just kind of gave it up until about 2 years ago. My wife and some friends prodded me into, well, actually, my wife found a handwritten manuscript. Back then, we didn't have computers. And she said I should take it up again. So I started writing again, and that was about almost 2 years ago. And, I was thinking paperbacks. That was the way to go. And then my son-in-law, who worked for Amazon at the time, told me about self-publishing. And I thought, oh, this could be a lot of fun, because I like playing with computers.
And so you said you wrote a lot of short stories after you got out of the military. Were they all basically in the same genre? And for anyone that doesn't know that's watching, your main series that you're writing right now is High Sea Adventure, right?
Yeah. The short stories had the same characters, actually. But in my books today, instead of the Marine that just got out after 4 years and moved to the Keys, he's retired after 20 years and moved to the Keys. And a lot of the action and adventure takes place all around the Caribbean. He's got a big boat, so he can go anywhere. I just think of a place that I've been that he hasn't been in my books, and I send him on his way, and he takes over the helm from there.
Awesome, and having written those short stories so long ago, and you knowing the character for so long, I'm sure it's like you know him now, right? So, and you said that to start with, you were thinking about paperback sales, and so I know you said that they told you about self-publishing. I mean, did you look into it a lot first, or were you like, I'm just going to throw something up there and see how it does, or?
Well, I actually, when I first published, I went straight to CreateSpace, got my paperback all squared away, and it was live for 2 or 3 weeks before I even discovered, hey, there's a whole electronic world of books out there. And found that out when I got a Kindle for Christmas, and started reading. I thought, oh, this is great. I can read the same kind of books that I've been reading all along, but now they're $2 and $3. And so my son-in-law told me about Kindle Direct Publishing. He's been feeding me little bits and scraps of information in the last 2 years, just letting me get enough head of steam to keep going.
And one of the things I noticed, I've been following your threads for pretty much since you were putting out your first, I think it was maybe second or third book when I really started following the posts or seeing you post quite a bit. And your genre that you're in is like a really niche genre. It's a smaller genre offset of like thriller or action or adventure. And so I noticed that really helped you to kind of dominate those lists for sure, because they're a smaller list. It's maybe a little bit easier to get in there. And once you're in there, it used to even have a lot of sticking power in there. But did you choose the genre based on any of this, or was it just write what you know, or write what you like?
Well, originally, I like a babe in the woods. I had no idea about keywords and how to use the keywords and which genres to be in and which categories. And to me, it was action adventure, so I just put everything in action adventure, and they just kind of fell in where they wanted to. And one of my books all of a sudden appeared in Sea Adventures, and it charted in the top 100 just right away. And so I thought, well, maybe I can duplicate that, and I learned through Kindle boards how to set up keywords to get into more and more genres. And right now that book is in 4 genres in Kindle and 5 in books. So it's in 9 genres altogether. There's 9 little subgenres of an issue.
And so I know you have you're writing full time now. Like I said, I follow the threads, and after the show, I'll link to the main thread I'm talking about here below the video for anyone that's on the page watching. But you've only been going full time for a few months or so, and can you tell us how you transitioned into that?
Since May 14th. Basically, my boss pushed the wrong button one too many times, and I handed him the keys and got out of the truck and came home. And never looked back. Sales were almost where they needed to be for me to quit. But as an over-the-road truck driver, I spent a lot of money just living on the road. I'd be gone for 2 weeks at a time and spend $300 or $400 just to eat. And so that was savings, and I was able to stay home. We washed our pennies for a couple of months, and then my 4th book came out, and it was Katie bar the door after that.
Awesome, man. I can't believe it's probably seems faster for you, of course, since you're living it, but I can't believe it's been that long since I read that post. If it was in May when you quit, it feels like a few months, but man, that was over a half year ago now. So, all right. I know starting to get into a little bit of the choosing keywords and stuff, and I know Lindsay wants to talk about that a little bit. I should kind of circle back around to where I was intending to go. So I'll talk a little bit about your writing itself. So you've been writing for a long time, and I'm sure your process has changed over time. What I'm most curious about is before you left your job, what did your writing day look like? Did you schedule a certain amount of hours, try to hit a certain word count just whenever you could, or?
Well, that was the really difficult part. I learned early on that one of the first things I learned that to be successful, you have to write 1,000 words a day. And when your work day is 14 to 16 hours long, and it involves an hour of planning before you even start your work day, then it doesn't leave a whole lot of time. Fortunately, I only sleep about 5 hours a night, so whenever I get settled in a truck stop or a rest area somewhere, I get my laptop out, and go get something to eat, get a shower, get cleaned up, get in bed, and just spend the next hour or two just telling the story.
Awesome. I like to hear that too, because one of the really common things I'm sure you've seen too on the forums and things are people saying that they don't have enough time.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you on the road 15 or 16 hours a day, still getting your books out, and transitioning into it full time is awesome for sure. And so now that you have transitioned into full time, you kind of have been in it for half a year, I guess, or more now. What does your schedule look like for writing now? How do you break that down?
You would think that I'd be able to write a lot more, but it's not that way. After the 4th book, I started getting more into the marketing side of it, and discovering how to market and how to keep those sales up at a nice high level. And right now I'm still working 15, 16 hours a day and only sleeping 5. And I've not been able to write any more. I'm not writing any less, but I'm not writing any more either.
Right, awesome. And you said that your 1,000 words or so that you typically do a day, that you plan around your day for about an hour. So does that mean your stories, do you plot those out in advance, or do you kind of write by the seat of the pants, or?
Like I said, once I turn the helm over to Jesse, he drives the boat. I'm just going along for the ride. The only thing I plan is the destination that the book's going to go. And that's just a physical destination. I'll pick someplace. I've lived and worked all over the Caribbean before I started truck driving. And I'll pick an island somewhere and try to work the story towards that. I keep nudging him, but he keeps turning the boat left or right. Sometimes I don't have any idea where he's going.
Do you have an idea of the end at least, or completely just a starting, that's it?
I don't know. The end of it is, I like to write like people read. I mean, you don't go to the last page and see what happens, do you? So I write the same way. I just make up the story as I go along. It just pretty much tells itself.
Awesome. Yeah. And one thing I've noticed from all these shows is, like you said, regardless how you do it, whether you're plot or not, you just have to get your words in, and you'll get a book out. So, um, last thing, this may kind of tip into marketing a little bit. I don't know if you planned it as a marketing strategy or not, but do your books also stand alone, or do you have to read them in an order, series order?
I like books that are standalone novels. I'm a big fan of James W. Hall, Randy Wayne White, uh, John D. MacDonald before he passed away, and Carl Hyacin, and all their books are standalones. But they're all part of a series. They all have the same central character. So I try to write my books the same way with just the same characters, different situations, different locations, and everything. So you could read any book in any order you want to, but it makes more sense to read them progressively.
Okay, I'm sure having them pretty much stand alone or being able to start anywhere you want without being confused helps with the marketing. Like you can promote any book instead of just a first in series. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll do the promotions. I've decided now that I'm only going to do the free promotions on the first two books, alternate every 6 months. But the rest of them I can do countdown deals and uh, different kind of promotions with BookBub and e-reader news today and some of the others. But I want to keep the free days just for the first two books.
All right, and that kind of segues pretty nicely into some of the questions I think Lindsay had written up for you about marketing and doing the promotion. So, Lindsay, I'll hand it over to you.
Alrighty. Well, you might have stolen a couple of my questions, but I guess I'll let that go.
How you doing, Leslie?
Hey, Wayne, it's good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
All right. Well, thank you. I'd like to kind of ask you about your cover art a little bit. Are you doing those yourself, or did you decide to hire a designer? They're very professional looking.
Oh, thanks. Actually, it's all I do is pick out the picture, and then I send the picture to a friend of mine who works in computer graphics, and he overlays the title and my name, and that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot of design to it.
They seem to be very in line with what the other authors in the Sea Adventures category are doing, like the Ari, what's his name, McDermott or something. I was checking out. I assume he's a big name over
Yeah,
there.
yeah. His books are. He's got I think 3 that are in the top 5 or 10 right now in Sea Adventures. He's just coming off of a big promotion also.
Nice. How much do you think that plays into your marketing style? I know you get picked up by BookBub a lot. We'll probably talk about advertising here. Do you think that's really helping out a lot, having the good covers?
I like to think so. I've always back ever since I started reading a long time ago. But I'd go to a bookstore and I'd walk up and down the aisles, and it's the bright colors that always caught my eye. And I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but if you can catch somebody's eye right from the start, then they might pick up the book and look at it, maybe flip it over and read the back cover. Or in this case, with Kindle, read the blurb and the advertising.
Sure, and it seems like those bright colors would be perfect for kind of the Caribbean style setting too. So, I've seen a bunch of your posts on Kboards, and you'll often do like I'm having a BookBub ad, and these other places I have ads scheduled, and here's you let people know kind of how it went. Could you talk to us a little bit about how you're strategizing? How you're like booking your ads on different sites right now to try to get the most bang for your buck?
Well, I've been looking how the algorithm works and trying to figure it, like everybody, trying to figure out how it works. And in my thought, it's just a simple mathematical process. There's no emotion involved. It's a computer taking this information and spitting out this information. And to me, any kind of algorithm like that, it's got to be spread over a certain period of time. So I'm guessing it's a 24 to a 48-hour uh, uh, rolling calculation where each book sale counts as a certain weight if it's within so many hours. So if this past hour's sale is going to carry a little bit more weight than the previous hour. So if you can, in a perfect world, if you could schedule your promotions to start at a certain hour and come out. Each ad comes out one after the other, after the other, after the other throughout the day. You'll create a perfect incline, and the algorithm will pick up on that and give greater weight to each hour's subsequent sales. It's, like I said, it's just simple math. It's I've always been kind of a math nerd. Even when I was driving a truck, I'd be driving down the road trying to calculate how far I've got to go to get here and how much fuel I need to get there. And so right now, all I'm doing is just I'm looking at each different advertiser, not just if they're available to run my book, but what time does their ad get posted online. So I don't want to have a whole bunch of them posted at 7:30 and then nothing for 3 or 4 hours, because that would create a huge spike and a deep valley. So the algorithm likes the nice steady incline. So I try to set them up so I get one ad at 7 o'clock, another one at 10 o'clock, another one at noon, another one at 3. So it just keeps coming out with new ads all through the day.
Right, and you know what we've definitely seen in the last couple of years is that BookBub, like if you got somebody like that and sold a bunch of books, that your book would stay sticky for a while, but Amazon seems to have moved away from that, and they almost, it's like they ignore those spikes. So it definitely seems like a good idea to stagger them over the day or even days. Do you mind sharing which advertising places you found the most effective?
Well, BookBub by far. They're just miles and miles ahead of everybody else. After that, I'd say e-reader news today, Kindle books and tips, good Kindles. So, and then there's a whole bunch of smaller ads, $5 to $10 ads. That when you use them together in the right combination, coming out at certain hours of the day, will give you that low, steady incline. When the BookBub ad comes out, you're going to get a spike. There's no avoiding that. There's no way around it. You're going to get a whole bunch of sales in a real short amount of time. So you want to build sales up throughout the day before that BookBub ad comes out, and that'll give you that much. That'll get you higher in the rank. And the higher in the rank you get, the longer you'll stay in the top 20 or the top 100.
For sure, that's definitely what I've been seeing. I like to spy on everybody and watch how their things are doing. So it's nice that you post your results on Kboards.
I got so much help when I first got the Kboards, and now that I'm getting some little bit of success, I want to share what I'm learning with other people. And the best way to do that is where all the writers congregate, and that's in the Writers Cafe.
Yep, we're all hanging out around the water cooler hoping for the secret answer to the marketing solution.
The only thing is the question keeps changing.
Yeah, it's great if you like watching stuff and you do have that entrepreneurial spirit and you enjoy actually seeing what's continuing to work. You mentioned that your first book is perma-free. I assume you've got it free on all the stores? No, it's not.
It's just free. It'll be free until tomorrow.
Okay, doing a countdown deal right now.
Free promo.
Yeah. How much do you usually do ads for the first book when it's free, or do you try to make money do you do like a 99-cent ad with BookBub?
I've always done the countdown deal and 99-cent ads with BookBub until this past December 1st. I put together a smaller promo just to see how, because everybody's been telling me and everybody says, oh, free is the way to go. Get your books out there. So I did it on the first with Fallen Out, which is the prequel to the series. And I used e-reader news today and several smaller ones. And it did pretty well. So I decided, well, I'll try it with BookBub. So this last couple of days, unbelievable. I'm up to, I haven't checked in the last couple of hours, but I'm sure it's real close to 50,000 downloads so far. And that's over just 2 days.
Yeah, that's great results for sure. Are you you said you're in Kindle Unlimited, and I know you were on the Self-Publishing Roundtable podcast a couple months ago talking about that. If you don't mind telling us again, like why have you decided to do KDP Select and Kindle Unlimited? And it sounds like you're using the countdown deals. Is there anything else how is it playing into your marketing plans?
Initially, it was just for the marketing tools, the free, being able to do the free promo and the countdown deal. Because there's really my sales on the other channels before I went with Select. Yeah, I got one or two sales here and there through Kobo and through all the other outlets like iTunes, and the numbers just weren't really there. And so I put one of my books. This was back in March or April. I think I put the newest one, Fallen Pride, in Select, and I started getting a borrow every 2 or 3 days. And by June, that was up to a borrow every day or 2 borrows a day, which was more than I was doing on the other channels. So I just pulled everything out and put it in Select. I think it's a real good marketing tool. I don't think it's the answer to everybody. Some genres do better on other outlets, but for me, Select is doing really well. It gives me that ability to make those marketing decisions and send the book out for free once in a while.
For sure. I think it's really great too if you're kind of a new author still. It seems to have a lot of tools to help a new author gain an audience. That's definitely something that can be tougher to do on the other. I love the other sites. I hate being exclusive with Amazon, but sometimes you have to do what helps you find the most readers, and sometimes you can find more readers by being on Amazon than, counterintuitively perhaps, than by being on all the other spots.
For me, it has been. My borrows now, I average 50 or 60 borrows a day, and even if they lower the price, the payout down to $1, it's still going to be more than what I'd be making. Well, I can't really say that for certain. Unless you actually do it, you can't be certain that you're going to do better one way or the other. But for me, it's working, and I'm not saying I'll always be with Select, but right now, it's helping me.
Okay, and I guess Kindle Unlimited came out about 2 months after you went full time there. Did that help right from the beginning for you, or did you take a hit, or how has that affected your sales?
I crunched those numbers several times and looked at how the sales. And it was hard because at the same time I had a big book club promo and I had a new release, so I couldn't really tell for sure just how my sales reacted after Kindle Unlimited came out. But throwing out the data from book club and throwing out the new release, I looked at the first book, Fallen Palm, and sales dropped a little bit, but the borrows were 3 times as much. So to me, in my mind, so long as the payout on the borrows is at least 30% of what my royalty would be on the sale, it's a no-brainer. Just stay in until such time as you got to get out.
Sure, and Adam was checking here. Was that 60 borrows a day per book, or is that kind of 60 borrows across the books?
Yeah, for all 5.
Yeah, that's still really good. And as you've doubtlessly noticed that those borrows seem to count as sales as far as Amazon's concerned, so it helps you stay up
ranking,
there.
Yeah, and it's the borrows. You get credit for the borrow immediately, so far as ranking goes. So it counts as a sale right at the point of borrow. You don't have to wait till the 10% is read for it to count as part of your ranking. That's just for getting paid.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be an advantage right now if you're in Kindle Unlimited and if you're able to kind of stick in a category. I've heard from people that if they're out of their top 100, then it doesn't seem to make a difference whether they're in KU or not. But if it can help you stay at the top, it's definitely great.
Yeah, it has certainly worked for me. Just to stay visible. If a lot of people want to borrow, I don't think that my primary readers. I don't think that they're a lot of them are voracious readers, but I think probably at least half of them are like me that only read 2 or 3 books a month, and so they're not enrolled in Kindle Unlimited. They're not borrowing books. They're not. I'm not losing sales for them to borrow my book. So all those borrows, the vast majority of them, have to be new readers, new visibility. So to me, it's just another. It's like having another book.
Right. I know it sounds like you do a lot of the playing around with all the mathematical stuff. What are your thoughts on pricing? It looks like 3.99 is kind of what you've decided on. Have you played around with other prices a lot, or?
Well, they were all $2.99 up until June. Then I raised the price to $3.99 after seeing several other people in the same genre doing the same thing. So just keeping up with the Joneses. I was considering another price increase the first of the year, but right now I'm just going to leave everything the way it is. Like my daddy used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. That seems like a good price point for a full-length novel. That's what I have a lot of mine at too. Adam kind of talked about this earlier, about the sea adventures category, but do you think that it's pretty important for a new author who's kind of breaking in with a series to try to find a smaller category like that? You know, I know when I got started, I was just in epic fantasy, and even back in 2011, that was pretty crowded, so it was definitely tough to stay in the top 100.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you can get into a really small niche category, and there's not a lot of books in it, but then again, there's not a lot of readers in it. But the readers that are there, they like to read that book. They like to read those kind of books. So getting into a smaller niche, like literary fiction, action adventure, sea adventures, or action adventure military, or action adventure uh, terrorist. And I rank real high in all these smaller subgenres just by using the keywords to their greatest advantage.
Do you think that actually writing about the Caribbean, kind of an exotic locale, has helped too? I would think that readers would really enjoy maybe going someplace they've never been but always wanted to go to.
Definitely. My according to my sales charts, the my biggest selling state is of course Florida. That's where all my books take place in South Florida. And I expected South Carolina, where I live, to be my number two. You know, all my friends and family live here, so they'd be buying up my books. But my second biggest state is New York. All those people huddled up under 2 feet of snow, dreaming about the Caribbean. So yeah, it's a great way to escape over the cold winter months.
Nice, you should be selling a lot of books right now during the winter.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We put together a box set, me and 6 other writers, and it was a lot of fun putting that together. And they're all nautical themed, tropical locations, and between us, we have 60 books available. So if anybody's snowed in, all you got to do is download that one uh, Seven Seas Mysteries collection, and from there you've got another 60 books that you can read and get through the whole winter.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that bundle, so I'll just switch over to that now. It looks like it's selling pretty well, 99 cents for a Seven Seas Mystery box set. Did somebody just invite you to that, or did you decide to create that yourself?
Several of us got together. I forget who came up with the initial idea, but I was invited to join, but that kind of fell through, and a couple of the authors that were in that just decided to go out on our own, and so we invited a few others, and I think we got a pretty good spectrum. We've got 3 Caribbean writers, 3 West Coast writers, well, 4 West Coast, and one of them's the Northwest Coast. But it's a good selection, and all seven books in the collection are all bestsellers at one time or another.
All right, nice. It looks like it's 99 cents, and that one's in Kindle Unlimited too. Did you have
Yeah.
any trouble? Were any of the authors on a wider, on the other platforms and had to pull it, or everyone was already
No,
in?
all 7 of us were already in selects. That was part of the criteria for inviting people. The 2 or 3 of us that started it decided, okay, if we're gonna do this, we need to put it in select so we can take advantage of the free promo days. And that's coming up probably about the 20th. We'll be putting it up for free for 5 days. I didn't say that. You can go ahead and spend the 99 cents.
All right, well, we'll definitely try to get people to do that. See if we can put a link in the show notes for it. It looks like it's only been out for a couple weeks. Are you able to tell yet if you're getting some sell-through from, I assume you have kind of the link to the other books after your book in that bundle?
It's really hard to tell. All 7 of us, our second books have always done really well. And the sell-through, there's got to be some moderate sell-through, but for somebody to sit down and read 7 novels, it's going to take them a while. And then to choose which one they thought was better and go on from there. And it could take months to a year before all the sell-through goes through.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in one with 14 authors right now, so I'm near the back of the bundle. I'm not sure I'm holding my breath for a
that was one of the hardest things to iron out. The price, we figured that out real quick. The cover design, we figured that. It was the order to put the books in that was our biggest stumbling block. Everybody wanted to be first.
For sure. I could see some arm wrestling matches going on to see who gets to win that spot.
And we finally decided the most logical way was bibliography. Put the titles of the books in alphabetical order.
All right, and Adam was wanting me to ask, have you noticed since the KU has since there's a foreign version now in a couple of other countries, have you noticed any boost to foreign sales or more borrows, anything like that?
My overseas sales in the English-speaking countries, in England, Australia, Canada, and India, have started coming up a little bit, especially in Australia and England. And borrows, I just recently had my first borrow in Germany, and that was a surprise. I didn't even know they had KU in Germany yet.
Oh, that's good. Well, hopefully that'll help you take off in some of the other countries. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that Germany seems to have a lot of people willing to read English language books, so that can be a pretty good market.
Yeah, I'm trying to read what's going. Oh, never mind.
He's telling me what to ask you over there in the chat bar. He's the brains behind the show.
I'm new to all this video stuff. It was a lot of fun doing the podcast last month, but this whole idea of being live on like a TV is kind of weird for me.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I don't think that many people watch the video. I think most people listen to the audio and could take it with them when they're walking their dogs or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But okay, I guess that's about it for Kindle Unlimited. People are probably wondering, do you do anything with social media? Are you on Facebook and Twitter?
I've got, beside my own Facebook page, I've got a Facebook author page. And I post there once a day, maybe twice a day if I've got a promo going on or something like that. And I like to interact with my followers on that page, get some idea of what they want. I have little contests when I get close to a release. So I'll have a contest. Somebody, last one, I had a contest to name my main character's airplane. He bought a seaplane, and so the person that came up with the most original idea, or the one that I liked the best, I sent him a signed copy of the paperback when it came out. But just little interactions like that, getting my fans to name the plane or name this boat or come up with a name for a character or what this character might look like or something like that. It's a lot of fun. I get emails from people all the time, and I've found some really good friends that way too.
Nice. It sounds like you kind of target it more towards your existing readers than trying to get new readers. Have you played around with Facebook advertising or anything like that?
I've done a couple of Facebook ads, and they, from what I can see, they just about pay for themselves, and not a whole lot more. But I stick with Book Club and the big advertisers to get new readers. But working with my existing fan base, and to me, that's just a lot of fun. Talking to people, and I've got several people that have written to me and said, "Oh yeah, your books are great. I used to live in this place. I know exactly what you're talking about." And that's a lot of fun. You get to talk about old times because I used to live down there myself, and places we go and different reefs that we fish, and it's just a lot of fun interacting with people.
Sure. And maybe you can move back down there with your big author earnings now that you're.
Well,
If you ever dream of it.
we're moving next summer, but not to Florida. We're moving down to Beaufort, and that'll get us closer to all our kids and grandkids. But I'm still planning to get down to the Keys at least once a year. Mini lobster season. You can't miss that.
Well, yeah, and now you can write it off on your taxes as research for the next novel. So good
Hey,
deal.
good idea.
Yeah. Are you doing anything on Twitter? I think you mentioned that you tweet your book links over there.
Yeah, I opened a Twitter account about a year ago, and I set it up. I set it up for the sole purpose of just advertising and talking about my books. And I don't interact a whole lot on Twitter. I don't get Twitter. I don't understand. I have a whole lot more to say, and I can't say it in 140 characters or less. So I set up a few posts that go out periodically throughout the day, about once every 2 hours, and it's all automated. Some people like it, some people don't, but that's what I set it up for, so that's what it is.
Yeah. Do you do any special links or anything to kind of monitor the effectiveness of the links that you share on there?
Well, I use the Twitter analytics, and most of the time I try to, the posts that I put on Twitter, the links go to my blog or to my website, and all those links to my books there are affiliate links, so I can follow exactly how many sales I'm getting through that. But the the Twitter analytics only shows the link clicks, doesn't say whether or not they bought the book. So I get about 8 a day.
Yeah, that's always the mystery. It's too bad Amazon won't tell us exactly where our book sales came from.
It's too bad Twitter won't allow us to put affiliate links in.
Yeah, that's how I monitor it from my blog for sure. It's helpful to know. It's nice with the blogging to know if what you're writing
Mm-hmm.
is actually reaching anyone.
Yeah,
Do you talk about your books on your blog, or do you write more about publishing and writing kind of stuff?
a little bit of both. I don't blog a whole lot, maybe once a week. Sometimes I'll go 2 or 3 weeks without posting anything, and sometimes it's an update on my book, or sometimes it's an interview that I was involved in, a question and answer kind of interview, and sometimes it's on the publishing world in general, the advantages and disadvantages of Kindle Unlimited, marketing strategies, email lists. That was a real popular post that I made on my blog. The email list is by far any writer's best tool. If you don't have an email list, you need to get started on it right away.
Well, that was going to be my last question, so I'll just go ahead and do you have any, how do you get people? Do you tell them at the end of the book to go sign up for your list, or what's your strategy there?
Everywhere and anywhere you can put a link. You put it at the end of your book, put it at the beginning of the book, put it on your website, put it on your blog, put it on your Facebook page, put it on everywhere you can. And with those, these are people that are asking you, hey, tell me when your next book's coming out. I liked it. So what I do when I have a release, I price the book at 99 cents, and I send an email to my mailing list, and it's available for 99 cents for 24 hours. And they're the only people that know about it. And usually within an hour of sending an email, I've got 90, 100, 120 sales. And immediately it goes from number 10 million in the ranking up into the 10,000s. And my last launch, I broke the 1,000 barrier within 14 hours of being published.
Nice. Some people, this is going to be controversial. They'll say that your fans are the ones that are most likely to pay full price for a book, so maybe you should have it most expensive at launch because you'll make more money. And I'm actually more with you. I know I'm going to end up discounting that book anyway, and I want to give my readers the same deal that other people are going to get later. Is that kind of your philosophy too?
Well, to me, it's those core group of people. I've only got about 500 or 600 on my mailing list, but I know that every single one of them is going to buy my book as soon as they can, as soon as it's available. And these are the people that have read all my books. They liked them. They're emailing to me. We're talking on Facebook. We're talking on Twitter. And these are the people that I've been interacting with for the last 2 years. And so my thanks to them, because they're the ones that put me up in ranking right away. So, and just in thanks to them, I give them a sweet little deal, 99 cents. But you
Yeah,
got to do it now.
right. No, and it seems like by making it for just a day or two, also you really give the incentive to buy now instead of buying
Exactly.
later.
Yeah. I'll set it up. I'll set it up. I'll send out an email 2 or 3 days before. Say this is going to be the launch date. The launch time is going to be 9 o'clock at night. So be ready. And when 9 o'clock that night comes and it goes live, I've been able to predict it pretty close. I try to publish. My last one I published it at noon, and by 9 o'clock I already had my email ready to go. I just clicked send, and within an hour I had 100 sales.
Nice. I'm just going to ask one more question here before passing it back over to Adam. He has a few to wrap things up. Last question, do you do anything to kind of solicit reviews, like from your mailing list, or do you send out advanced review copies, or do you do anything to try to get those first 20 or 30 reviews that really help out?
Well, I've got about usually 10 or 12 beta readers that I've got a Facebook page set up, a group page. It's private. Only my beta readers are in it. So they get the advanced copy before it's published, before it even goes to the editors. And they're looking for plot holes, they're looking for redundancies, things that might have been said twice, something like that. And once they're done and I compile everything and send it to the editor, then their reward for helping me out is they get a free signed copy and a free Kindle copy. And all I ask is that they write a review, and an honest review, and they have to put in that review that they were a beta reader. I don't if they don't put it in there, I ask them to take it down until they do. So it's soliciting for reviews to me is especially if you're a paid review. If you pay somebody $20, what kind of review are you going to get? You're going to get a glowing 5-star review. I'd rather not pay somebody anything and just ask them, did you like the book? Tell the world about it.
For sure. I think that's a really good policy to be really honest with anybody who's a potential reader and, of course, your readers as well. And I guess I'll hand you back over to Adam here if his internet's working. Thanks for answering my questions, Wayne.
Sure thing, Lindsay.
All right. So, yeah, I just have a few more questions. Is the sound coming through okay?
Yeah, I got you good.
Okay, perfect. So, all right. Early on, I meant to ask you as well. I'll kind of ask you these from like a new author's perspective. So, I know when you put the first book out about, let's see, when did that come out again? Your very first one?
October 8th, 2013.
Okay. And was that one professionally edited? I know I've seen you on Kindle boards recommending an editor now, but was your first one also professionally edited, or?
No, I didn't even edit it myself. I typed the end, uploaded it, and it went live. And I got scorched in reviews. So I pulled it down real quick and sent it to some friends. At the time I was making truck driver wages and couldn't afford to hire a high caliber editor. So I sent it to some friends and they sent it back and I made some changes, and gradually I was able to build up enough saved money to where I could hire an editor. And Fallen Mangrove was my last book. That was the first one to undergo a complete developmental edit before it was published. And now that same editor has gone back and gone over Fallen Pond and Fallen Hunter. And I'm going to be working on Fallen Pride next.
All right, so in your experience then, if someone's just putting out a book, even if they can't afford professionally editing, you recommend they do some quid pro quo editing with someone else or exchange manuscripts or things like that for sure?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. At least self-edited. I didn't even do that. But yeah, if you can get 2 or 3 people, especially if it's another writer, they can be more critical, and they know that they can give you information and you won't take it personally. Your friends, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, oh yeah, it was great. in reality, you're writing there, and you should be writing there over there. And for somebody that you know and love, your family, your friends, they're not going to give you the kind of criticism that you have to have. You have to have an outside source.
Right. Good advice. And I know that was a debate here recently on the forums as well, whether you should just throw something up there as soon as you're done, try to get money out of it or not. So definitely sounds like no from your experience. So, and then kind of on the same front, do you have beta readers as well? I know you said you have some beta or ARC reviews, but do you actually have beta readers that read it before it goes off to editing or when it comes back and let you know what they think about it even before you hit the publish button?
Yeah, I was telling Lindsay about that. But my beta readers are, I try to pick, I have a core group of about 6 or 7, and then I try to pick friends, people I know that have expertise in a certain field. Like with Fallen Pride, there was a lot of, they had to fly up to North Carolina in a private plane and fly back. And I've flown plenty of times, but I never really paid attention to the air-ground conversations. But I wanted that to be realistic. So I contacted 2 friends that were pilots and another friend who's an air traffic controller and put them on the beta reader list. And they came back, and I wanted them to, just concentrate on this one chapter. You can read the whole book, give me information on the whole book, but I want this air traffic, this interaction between the pilot and the air traffic controller to be realistic. And so they helped out with that. And I've got friends that are in certain aspects of the military that help out with small unit tactic information and things like that whenever that's wanted. Got lots of friends that are in. I used to work on a charter fishing boat that was like 25, 26 years ago. And so the advances now with GPS and technology and sonar and autopilot and all, I had to go fishing. So I went out fishing with a friend, and he showed me all the electronics and how everything worked, and so I was able to incorporate that into my books as well.
Yeah, another one of those good business expenses like Lindsay was talking about.
Yeah.
So, that's you're the first one I've heard about getting beta readers, rated beta readers that to validate some of the technologies and things in that, which is really important with writing with anything in the real world, or else you're going to get grilled in the reviews again by you find that one person who knows. So do you also pull beta readers from your existing readers? I mean, have you opened that up to any of them, or do you only get the targeted beta readers?
I like to stick with people that I know personally. So I've had several offers from readers that would like to be beta readers, but I don't know the person, so I don't know just how strong their expertise is in a certain field. So I'd be uncomfortable taking unsolicited advice from somebody that I don't know. They might not know a rod from a reel.
Right. And so again, thinking about the new author, just getting into this, or maybe they want first book out. Your first book, how did you? I know you said you don't like soliciting reviews, definitely not paying for reviews for sure. How did you go about getting reviews for when you just had one book out, or did you not worry about them at that point? Or what would you say for a new author right now that's trying to get those first few reviews to get into those promotional places?
Well, the first advice I ever got from anybody about self-publishing was, once you've published your first book, forget the fact that you published your first book and start writing. And so when I published Fallen Palm on October 8th, I didn't look at sales, I didn't look at reviews, I just pretended it didn't exist and went on with writing the next book. And lo and behold, there wasn't much to see anyway, 23 sales in 2.5 months. But then the second book came out, and in just a week I had another 100 sales of the first one. So I just set everything aside. I didn't worry about reviews. The reviews came in. It's like everybody on Kindle board says, writing is not a sprint. It's a long marathon, and you're going to get reviews. You're going to get good reviews. You're going to get bad reviews. But there's no reason to go out and solicit for reviews. So they'll come eventually. But I do ask my beta readers to do it. Occasionally, if I've got a book that's I just released and it doesn't have enough reviews to get into book club or something like that, I might send out a tweet or a Facebook post and ask for anybody that's read it to review it.
All right. I know this kind of is unrelated, but these are just kind of a hodgepodge of questions I got when you were talking about Lindsay, things that I forgot. So completely switching gears. You said when you first got into it, you were concentrating on paperbacks in the beginning because you didn't realize how big the book boom was at the time. How are your paperbacks doing now? Do you see a good amount of sales from that, or just a couple sprinkled through the month, or?
I'm glad you asked that. At the beginning of last month, I had a free promo of Fallen Out. And after that promo, I got a little bit of sell-through on the Kindle side. Not a whole lot. It just enough to pay for all the ads that I spent. But when I looked at my paperback sales, for December, Fallen Palm, the second book, actually it's the first book in the series, but the second book in the Jesse Action Adventure collection. But it was 3 times what any of my other paperbacks were selling. So a lot of people got the free download of Fallen Out and bought the paperback, which just totally, it doesn't make any sense to me.
That is weird. So aside from that spike, though, do you see pretty sales of paperbacks, or is it just dinner money throughout the month, or I mean, is it for the new author, is it worth getting those done right away, or just concentrate on?
You might as well do it. I mean, if you publish through CreateSpace or whoever, you can automatically take that file and convert it to ebook in just an hour. So it doesn't really take a whole lot of time, or just vice versa, convert the ebook files and do the formatting for paperback, adding page numbers. But you want to be at some point in time, you're going to want to do a book signing. You want to give a physical copy to your friends and family. Say, hey, look, I'm a friend of the author. And so, you got to have them. They're not, they pay for a dinner out with my wife and daughter once a month. But still, it's good to have. It makes you a physical copy of a book. I've got a whole stack of them right behind me. But the actual physical copy, I still like paperback books. I like paper. But it's so much more convenient to read everything on my Kindle.
Yeah, especially when I just saw someone talking about it before. They were moving and they have like 500 hardback books to take with them. I was like, oh man, if all of my books on my Kindle were hardback, I would never move again, But,
when we move this summer, we've got bookshelves full of paperback books, and bookshelves full of vinyl records. Yeah, we're that old.
So, kind of, I guess, on the same topic, paperbacks away. I noticed, from what I can see on Amazon, that you haven't bothered with audio of your books yet. Is that something you're looking into still, or are you just going to forego that, or?
No, I'll be putting out audiobooks starting in the spring. In fact, Amazon just contacted me and offered me a deal. They're going to do the production of the first audiobook for Fallen Out at no cost. So I'll get the first one for free.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard of it getting that deal, so that's awesome. Is that part of like the ACX stipend type thing that they're giving you, or?
I really don't know. I got the first email from them just feeling me out to see if I'd be interested in it. And I wrote back and I said, yeah, sure. And haven't heard anything more for about 2 weeks now. So if it goes through, it goes through. If it doesn't, I'll pay for it to get done. Some of my characters have accents, and I want to be able to hire voice actors that can do the accents. I've got some Croatian-speaking mobsters. I've got some Jamaicans. I've got some Puerto Ricans, some Cubans, and Cajuns. Just a whole slew of different kind of people. I want that accent, that flavor to carry through on audio.
Yeah, and speaking of that too, from a listener standpoint, audiobooks are really convenient, and you, being a truck driver, I don't know if you listen to them a lot, but people on the road a lot, I mean, that's super convenient to have them audio. So, and when I hear one that is, fully voice acted, different people doing different characters' voice, those ones are awesome. It's like listening to a TV show, with a that you can't see or something. But just really quick, that leads me to want to ask it: are your books written in first person, or are they in third, or?
Kind of both. My first book, Fallen Palm, was written primarily in first person, but with third person narrative and outside affairs, the other characters, the bad guys. And in Fallen Hunter, I went straight 100% first person. And so I kind of jumble it up a little bit, first person and both.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that because you said getting different voice actors for different ones, and I know a lot of books in third person do that a lot. So again, kind of off topic, but also not really. A really hot topic thing during late 2014 was about translations and these big markets exploding. Like Lindsay mentioned, English-speaking books selling well in Germany, but I've also saw, especially with the romance authors that get things translated into German or other languages, are starting to get a huge amount of sales. Have you looked into foreign translations as well, or is that something you're planning on in 2015? Or
I've looked into it. There's one company, I can't remember the name now, that they do kind of a profit sharing where they'll translate your book and you publish it on that store, say in Germany, in German, and whatever sales it gets in Germany, they get a percentage of, and you get a percentage of. And that's for a set amount of time, like 2 years or 3 years, I forget. But I would do something like that. But I don't know that my target audience is Germany or France or Spain. I think most of my target audience is Americans. I don't want to discount our friends overseas, but most of them have never been to the Keys, and people like to read about places they've been before.
right, yeah, I was just curious too because, like I said, I've seen a lot from the romance author community, but not so much of the other genres. So I was just really curious about that one, and I saw the ones you're talking about as well. I'll try to look those up and put the link to them in the below the video after this. But yeah, I saw that too, where they take a percentage, kind of like the ACX of translation or so on. So I think that was pretty much it. The only other thing I had jotted down to ask you was, I know you do the affiliate links with Amazon Books, and Lindsay was talking about you get a lot of people that are wanting to take vacations and things there, and so with the affiliates, do you see a lot of sales through that as well? I mean, is that, again, you just grab some dinner money every month, you make sure you get your affiliate link in everywhere you put your book, or?
Yeah, on my website and on my blog, those are affiliate links, and I try to direct people towards that. But if I'm in a hurry or they're in a hurry, I just send them the link straight to the Amazon page. But it allows you to track it a little bit better. And what I find really interesting is all the other things people buy after clicking on your link, and maybe buying your book, maybe not. Your affiliate code is still good. If they go and buy a diamond tennis bracelet for their wife, well, you get a little bit more than dinner money that month.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you said that. I know the other podcast that we were on with you, the Roundtable, we talked to Mimi about some of her funny things before that she got on there, and she had someone that bought two bedwetting alarms, and we thought that was funny. They didn't need just one, they needed two bedwetting alarms. And why that person bought that after looking at her book, who knows? But
the other day I had 2 book sales, and then somebody bought 4 50-pound bags of dog food.
Wow.
I guess Fido's got to eat after you get done reading.
Yeah, a whole lot. So, all right. I think that was all the questions I had on any sites that listeners have put it, or for myself. Lindsay, did you have anything that came up when you were listening to this?
No, I think that's about it for me, but I just thought I'd chime in and say I have had so many R and X-rated things ordered from my affiliate links, and I write epic fantasy. There's usually a love story, but it's very PG. And it's I don't know if that's everybody's experience, but it is definitely interesting seeing the things that your readers go on and purchase after they purchase your books.
It can be quite amusing.
and like Wayne said, every now and then you get lucky. We had someone that bought a ring sometime, and we got like $70 off that one thing. So, I
I
mean,
had
it's
somebody
well
buy
worth it.
$2,500 worth of camera equipment.
Wow.
Nice.
At 6%, yeah, we went out to dinner.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're not, for anyone that listening, maybe just getting started, you might as well sign up for the Amazon affiliate thing. It's free, and once you're logged in, anytime you go to an Amazon page, there's a link or there's a button at the top that says "Link to this page," and it'll automatically put your affiliate ID in there. So no reason not to do that, because even if you don't sell many of your books through it, the one person goes and looks at your book and then buys $2,500 of camera equipment or rated X movies like Lindsay was talking about, you'll get a pretty big paycheck, or
Well,
at
one of
least
the
more than
things
what
that
you
I
want.
do in my newsletter, I have a small column off to the side called What I'm Reading. And I'll just post an affiliate link. I'll tell a little bit about the book that I'm currently reading, post an affiliate link to it. And I'm helping other writers, because I read mostly indie writers now. So I'm helping them out, getting them some sales, sometimes 10 or 15 sales. And at the same time, I'm getting $1 or $2 off of it. So yeah, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, I think it's useful too. Actually, you can kind of see what people who bought your books are also buying. So if you're ever thinking of maybe writing in another genre or just kind of branching out a bit, it's very informal and not very scientific. But you can see like, well, I found out that I have a lot of romance readers reading my epic fantasy, so that was interesting. So good to keep in
I,
mind.
I, I found some new books. Some of the affiliate buys. I say, hey, that's a writer I've never heard of, but it's got a nice looking title. I'll click on it, and hey, this guy writes Caribbean like I do. And so I found a couple of new writers that way too.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Guess that's
Yeah.
all I have, Adam. If you want to.
Oh, yeah. And Wayne, was there anything else left you wanted to say? And if not, can you let everyone know where best to find you?
No, that's it. I think we covered a lot of ground here. You can find me at www.waynestinnett.com or on the Kindle boards. I spend a lot of time there. There's links to my blog on my website. On Facebook, I'm Wayne Stinnett. No, Stinnett Enterprises on Facebook, and at Wayne Stinnett _ on Twitter.
All right, awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show, being the first guest on here. I know we were going to have you on the other show as a one-on, well, I guess 2-on-1, but that kind of went downhill. So I'm glad we were able to get you on here. And
I appreciate you having me. I hope you guys have great success with this.
Yeah, and we'll have to bring you back after you get the audio going for a couple months, talk to you about how that's going. So, all right. So, for everyone watching, one thing that really struck a chord with me, I mentioned it earlier, is again, like Wayne said, just need to get your words in. Even if you're working 15 hours a day and are tending to a family or whatnot, fall asleep in your bed, getting some words down, or open the laptop while you're eating lunch, and so on, and get your words in. Eventually, you'll have a book to put out there, and who knows? After you get 3 or 4 out, you may be going full time like Wayne was able to as well. So, aside from that, that's it for this week's show. We'll be back next Friday at the same time. And I did have a few people asking about iTunes. iTunes Connect actually shuts down at the end of December. I think it's the 22nd through the 29th for new uploads. So now that it's back up, I'm going to work this weekend on getting these on there. So anyone that's still watching these and wishing they were just listening on iTunes, those should be live at the beginning of next week. But until then, we will see you next week, and thanks again for watching.
Bye, Cindy. Got to say hi to my cattle prod.